Picture this, it's a sunny day and you've set up a lemonade stand. The sun is beating down and there's not a cloud in sight. Your neighbors are out and about and they're all thirsty. What a fantastic opportunity to make some money, right? Let's think about this scenario from an economic perspective. First up, we have the concept of demand. Demand is the desire or need for a particular good or service. In this case, it's a refreshing glass of your homemade lemonade. The hotter the day, the thirstier the people, the greater the demand for your lemonade. Now let's talk about supply. Supply is the amount of a product or service available for sale. How many glasses of lemonade can you make in a day? That's your supply. You've got a jug of lemonade that makes 20 glasses. So your supply is 20 glasses of lemonade. Here's where it gets interesting. The price of your lemonade isn't just something you pull out of thin air. It's affected by the interplay of supply and demand. If the day is scorching hot and your neighbors are parched, they might be willing to pay more for a glass of lemonade. That's high demand. But remember, you only have 20 glasses to sell. That's limited supply. So you could raise your price because people are willing to pay more when there's less of something they want. But what if it's a cooler day and people aren't as thirsty? The demand for your lemonade goes down. And if you've still got 20 glasses of lemonade to sell, you might need to lower your price to entice people to buy. That's low demand and high supply. So you see, even your lemonade stand is a little economy of its own. By understanding supply and demand, you're already getting the hang of basic economics. And that's just the beginning. Stick around and we'll delve deeper into the fascinating world of economics, one glass of lemonade at a time. Imagine your school canteen suddenly runs out of chocolate bars. Oh, the horror. No more sweet, comforting cocoa goodness during your lunch breaks. But what if I told you this unfortunate event can teach you something about the economy? Let's dive into it. The situation we're in is a classic example of scarcity. In the economic world, scarcity is when the demand for something exceeds its supply. Here, the demand is your insatiable love for chocolate bars, and the supply is, well, zero, zilch, nada. The school canteens run out of them. Now, let's say, out of nowhere, your friend James pulls out the last chocolate bar from his lunchbox. Suddenly, James is the most popular kid in school. Why? Because he has the only chocolate bar. And in the world of scarcity, that bar is more valuable than ever. So what happens next? Well, everyone wants that chocolate bar. Some might even be willing to trade their entire lunch for it. The price of the chocolate bar has just skyrocketed, all because it became scarce. This, my friends, is how scarcity affects prices. But let's flip the script. Imagine the next day, the school canteen is overflowing with chocolate bars. They're everywhere. Your craving for a chocolate bar isn't as intense anymore because you can have one whenever you want. The value of each chocolate bar drops because they're no longer scarce. They're plentiful. So what have we learnt from the great chocolate bar fiasco? Scarcity, or the lack of something, increases its value. The rarer something is, the more people want it, and the higher the price they're willing to pay for it. On the other hand, abundance, or having a lot of something, decreases its value. The more there is of something, the less people want it, and the lower the price they're willing to pay for it. It's a simple yet powerful principle that drives our economy, and it's happening all around us, from the school canteen to global markets. So remember, when something becomes scarce, it becomes more valuable. You've just received birthday money now. Do you buy that new video game or save it? The age-old quandary of spending versus saving. This, my dear friends, is what we economists call the concept of opportunity cost. Now, don't let that fancy term frighten you. Opportunity cost is simply the value of the next best alternative that you give up when you make a choice. It's like a trade-off, a swap, a barter of sorts. You're trading what you could potentially gain from one option for what you could potentially gain from another. Let's get back to that birthday money. Say you have enough to buy the latest video game that just hit the shelves. It's all the rage and all your mates are playing it. But then there's another voice in your head suggesting you save that money. Maybe you're saving for a new bike, or perhaps you simply want to stash it away for a rainy day. Here's where the opportunity cost comes in. If you choose to buy the video game, the opportunity cost is what you're giving up by not saving that money. It could be the delay in getting that new bike, or having less money set aside for unforeseen circumstances. On the other hand, if you decide to save the money, the opportunity cost is the fun and enjoyment you could have had with the video game. The thing about opportunity cost is that it's not always about money. It could be about time, effort, or even happiness. The key is to weigh your options and consider what you're willing to give up for what you want to gain. So the next time you're faced with a decision, remember the concept of opportunity cost. It might just help you make a more informed choice. After all, every penny, every moment, every decision counts. So every choice you make has an opportunity cost. Choose wisely. Ever noticed how candies seem to get more expensive every year? You might think it's a sinister plot by the candy companies to squeeze more of your pocket money out of you, but it's actually a little more complicated than that. It's all about something we call inflation. Inflation, in the simplest terms, is when the general price of goods and services in an economy increases over time. It's like a sneaky little wizard that makes your money magically shrink while you're not looking. So when you notice the price of your favorite candy bar creeping up, that's inflation at work. Now let's take a closer look at how this affects your pocket money. Imagine you've got £10 to spend on candies. Last year, that could have bought you 10 candy bars. But this year, thanks to our sneaky wizard inflation, those same candy bars now cost £1.10 each. Suddenly, your £10 can only buy 9 bars. It's not that the candy bars are physically shrinking or that they're made of more expensive ingredients, it's just that the value of your money has decreased. In other words, your pocket money has lost some of its purchasing power. That's a fancy way of saying you can't buy as much with it as you used to. Now, you might be wondering, why does inflation even happen? Well, it's a natural part of a growing economy. When businesses are doing well and people have more money to spend, demand for goods and services increases. And when demand increases, prices often go up. That's just the way the chocolate chip cookie crumbles, my friend. So next time you find yourself grumbling about the rising cost of your favorite candy bar, remember, it's not the candy companies trying to dig deeper into your pockets. It's our old friend inflation, making your money a little less powerful than it was before. So, it's not that candies are getting more expensive, it's that your money is worth less over time. Ever wondered how your favorite toy made it into your hands? Well, it's all thanks to the magic of global trade. Let's take a journey, shall we? Imagine this. In a bustling factory in China, skilled workers assemble your toy, let's say a super cool action figure. The raw materials for this figure, like plastic, paint and metal, likely come from a variety of places, from Saudi Arabia to Australia. Every component of your action figure has a story, a journey it's taken to reach the factory. Once the figure is assembled and packaged, it's time for it to embark on its voyage. It's loaded onto a cargo ship along with millions of other toys bound for different corners of the globe. This ship, a veritable floating toy store, sails across the Pacific, through the Panama Canal and finally docks in the United States. From the docks, your action figure, still nestled in its box, is loaded onto a truck and transported to a distribution center. It's then sent to a retail store or an online warehouse. Either way, it's now ready for purchase. And that's where you come in. You, or perhaps a generous gift giver, buy the action figure, completing its epic journey. From factory to store shelf, from China to your home, your toy has traveled thousands of miles and touched countless hands. But it's not just the toy that's traveled. The money you used to buy the action figure flows back through the system, paying the retailer, the shipper, the factory workers, and the raw material suppliers. It's a dazzling web of transactions, a testament to our interconnected world. This, my friends, is the beauty of global trade. It's not just about moving products from one place to another. It's about the exchange of goods, services, and currencies that connects economies and people around the world. So next time you play with your favorite toy, remember you're part of a global economy.